Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Expansion Pack podcast, where we download this week's gaming news, and of course, we bring it straight to you. I'm your host, Danzel, aka Black Ice, joined by my co-hosts each and every week, talking about the gaming news you guys want to hear. Start off with Manny, aka the Goop Master Flex.
Here to no stay gooping.
Okay, you know it's a lifestyle, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, we got my boy Chris over there, Mr. May 25th. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I've been 10 days in on the lifestyle, and I gotta say it's refreshing.
Okay.
Refreshing.
First-hand
There
review.
you go.
Yeah, there you go. Testimonial for you, Goop.
All right. You got to do it, ladies and gentlemen. You got to stay gooping. Yeah. So, guys, we're back. We missed you guys last week. We took a little hiatus last week, to be quite honest, because I was your boy was not feeling too good. But that's okay. We're back. We're better than ever. And this is our what, annual episode, I guess you could say. Like, it's a year ago today is when we first started this podcast. So, so it's crazy to think it's already been a year.
Man, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Time
yeah.
flies.
Wow.
You're having fun. Well, or shall I say, time
Wow.
flies when you're staying gooping.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, now he let the brain get to his head.
Oh, God. Let's move on real quick, guys.
Oh, God. We're gonna bring it in right though. We're gonna get some new stuff, y'all. Some new stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Down the pike.
Yeah, year 2 is going to be pretty fun. We
That.
definitely got a couple new things in the works. But yeah, it's definitely been a fun year, learning and trying to grow this podcast. So we thank you guys for listening and of course always watching. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. You can't forget. I gotta say it. Make sure to like and subscribe and show your support. But yeah, back to the podcast, guys. What have you guys been playing this week or this past 2 weeks? I guess we should say. Let's get caught up. So, Manny, what about you? Start off for me.
Yeah, been playing a little bit of 2K as well as Back for Blood, of course. That game just released this week.
A lot of bit of 2K.
What do you mean a lot of bit of 2K? 2K, 2K. I've been, me and 2K are fighting a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to call Manny out, but sometimes he does it to himself. This man is a 99 overall.
No.
Already won his first chip.
Bro.
You playing a lot of 2K.
You know Jerry,
99.
Right?
Oh, you on natural?
Bro, Marquise's friend, first of all, Jerry, got 99 overall, and it was like halfway in the second season, like the third day it came out, and I remember because we were in a party talk, and he just mentioned it. So it's not
What's that
like
got to do with you?
I'm a no life, you know what I'm saying?
Whoa, hold on, talk about. Nobody called you a no life. Nobody called you a no life now.
What do you mean, yo? I just came over my neck. He was like playing a lot of 2K.
I mean, you said a little bit. It's not a little bit. You've been playing a lot of 2K. I've been playing a lot of 2K too. Nothing wrong with it. Ain't nobody call you a no life. Settle down, bro.
Whatever, I'm just
Go ahead. Continue gooping, bro.
But yeah, that as well, and then as well as Apex Legends. You already know, getting ready for Ash in the new season. I'm trash, but it's fun. You know what I'm saying? It's fun.
Okay, all right. Chris, what you been playing? Don't say Destiny.
Well, that only leaves me with a little bit. Now, on some real shit though, like my gaming the last few weeks has been subpar because like I've been playing shit, but like here and there, been trying to fix a lot of things. Like I try to do a lot of editing for like a YouTube channel, and then stuff like I said we got coming down the pike. So I ain't been spending no time on the Xbox because I got to do the other stuff right now. You know what I'm saying? So I have played a little 2K here and there. I'm still a 70 something overall. I ain't no 99. And have I played anything else? I've been actually playing a lot of Ninja Storm. Y'all don't want to talk about Ninja Storm, but I've been playing a lot of that.
Okay.
Ninja Storm, interesting.
Well, you want some hands?
Brought that back.
Man, I thought his hands. I thought his hands.
Okay. I thought it was about to get wild. You get that I get Naruto's dad up in here, man. Stop playing, man.
So
Oh
chill.
God.
The
Yes,
hidden
man.
flash, man. I'll
I'll
fuck
smack
you
you with
up, man.
Shisui,
Play
yo.
around.
I'll smack you with Shisui, yo.
I'm just letting you know. Shit.
Uh,
Anywho,
do I spell smell a challenge here? You know, a little
I'm just
stream.
saying, yo, I don't like the way man said that to me. You know what I mean? It kind of made me feel some type of way.
Okay. Hey man, you know how to settle it on the sticks. That's how we do it in gaming world.
I've been speaking of anime fighting games. I've been thinking about getting that Demon Slayer game because people have been posting it. I mean, it's like Ninja Storm, but like
Really?
So I've been thinking about it, but I'll probably wait till it catches on sale. You know how those anime games go.
Yeah, I definitely didn't start myself.
Speaking of fighting games, I don't know if you guys peeped the DC fandom this past weekend, but they were showing some stuff from Injustice, and it's really making me want to play that game real bad.
Really?
Like
They
real
showed
bad.
new stuff. Like
Not the game. So the game, real quick, the game basically spawned like a whole comic book franchise, and then also now they're doing like an animated movie based off of Injustice. So actually, like, come to think of it, that's really cool though, because like that's kind of one of the few times where like everything happened backwards. Like the game happened first, and then it was so popular that DC was like, let's turn this into something. So yeah, there's supposed to be like an animated movie coming out pretty soon, and hopefully we'll get an Injustice 3. But they didn't really talk about that too much at the fandom. But since you guys are just mentioning fighting games, it made me want to pick it up or play it again, I should say, because it's already in Game Pass, so I already got it.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Shit, I'll fuck around and download it again if motherfuckers really want to go at it. I'm just saying. I
You
get
already
it.
know.
I get it.
I mean,
I'm telling you right now.
it's
Y'all
still
lucky we can't
October,
get
you know.
Marvel's Capcom 2. Y'all lucky.
Hey, y'all want to see a horror
man.
film? Y'all want to see a horror film? Shoot. All right, let's go King of the Hill and Injustice. Both of y'all. Y'all want to see a horror film? Y'all gonna be crying.
Look at this guy, yo.
What
Look
is
at this
King of the Hill
dude.
in a fighting game?
It's basically just like you take turns trying to beat me, and you don't because I'm the king in Injustice.
Oh,
Just saying.
you just okay.
I'm just saying.
Excuse me, more.
I'm just saying. But
Hey,
you know
man,
what
we'll
though?
find out. I mean, I remember Mortal Kombat X. I used to be smacking them cheeks.
That's
and
Mortal
paws,
Kombat
man.
X. That's Mortal Kombat X. We're not talking about Mortal
It's the
Kombat X.
same game.
But even still, wait, forget X. Mortal Kombat 11 when that came out, who was top of the hill?
Bro, we only played a good one match.
Okay,
bro,
but who was top of the hill?
I mean, we don't know. It's been so long. I could have been on top of the hill, you know.
Nah, it was me.
Do like a fighting game for you.
Let's go.
Yeah, gonna make me. All right, yo. Everybody download this fighting game. Mortal Kombat X ain't that on Game Pass? You already know.
Download Injustice too. We got to get it popping.
All right,
I'll
pack that thing too. You know what I'm saying? No.
Okay. Okay, we got a lot of talking going on. I like it. All right. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's actually just get into the icebreaker for this week because we gotta keep it moving. We gotta stop doing the trash talking here. So, Chris, my boy, what's good?
America. We don't go negative. Actually, I shouldn't say America. We global. Yeah, we going negative this week. I gotta ask you, my fellow co-host, of everything that's come out this year so far, what has been the biggest blunder? What has been the biggest fumble? What game to y'all just didn't match the hype? It wasn't hitting like you thought it should have been hitting. You thought the ball was going to go out the park and it kind of stopped at first base. Which game was that?
Okay. The biggest fumble, the biggest letdown of the year.
Yeah, man, I thought it was a touchdown and it was. Man, which one?
You want to start it off, Chris?
Sure. I shall. Everybody who's been watching for a while has heard me talk about Biomutant before it came out very, very affectionately. Because it had such potential. I really thought they was gonna do something to me, man. And then I think I got overly gassed too when they were putting out the messaging like they were gonna put the game out when it was ready. And they made it seem like to me like they were taking their time and wasn't rushing to give us something really good. So I guess I doubled down on my wants for the game to be good. And it's like it's okay. I'm not gonna say the game is trash. It's not trash, but like I thought this shit was gonna like I don't know, man. I thought it was really gonna do something for me, man. And safe to say, I got maybe about 40% through the game, and I am gonna go back and finish it one day. I am. I'm not gonna not finish it. But
I
I
felt
don't
it.
know, man. It's like the game was hollow. Like it's like one, the gibberish shit was one thing. That shit was straight. That was a whole L, capitalized. You got a hold of that. That shit was not it. That gibberish narration was horrible. But aside from that, I don't know. The game just when you watch the trailers, the game looks super alive, right? Like the game looked like it had mad personality and it had like a lot of pizzazz. And it has that, but like it doesn't. I don't know. It's a really hollow feeling game when you're playing it. And I kind of want them to get a sequel because I think maybe if they had more money behind them and a little bit more other resources, maybe they can do something better. But I ain't gonna hold my breath for it because I don't think it probably sold well or anything. Like I'm surprised that shit ain't in Game Pass if I'm not being 100% real.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't in Game Pass by the end of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fumble, bro. A whole fumble, like, and they had little critters with like with like ski blade swords and rockets and sausages and stuff blowing up and all kind of crazy mess, and it was just wasn't it.
The disappointment in your face just says it all, ladies and gentlemen.
Wasn't it,
Mhm.
man.
All right, well, Manny, so you're up, man. What's your biggest disappointment of 2021?
I'm gonna have to go with Returnal.
Oh
That
shit.
that game, you know, it was good at first, but then it's like as it kept on playing, they kind of feel really repetitive, even though that's kind of like basically what the game is. So I mean, it was fun at first. You know, it's like a new exclusive finally for the PlayStation, and you get to get your hands on it. You play it, and then you're just like, okay, this is kind of getting boring, and you kind of feel like, damn, is this really worth $70 that I'm paying for? So,
Damn.
like, it was disappointing, as in like the price you pay for what you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it was like a $40 game, I probably wouldn't be as mad, but like overall, I feel like the experience, like even though the game did have like its little cool features and everything like that, take advantage of new like the adaptive triggers and the controller and everything like that, the game just didn't feel as like I feel like it was just something missing, and that's why I kind of felt like it was like a little disappointing in my opinion.
Okay,
People beat
that's
it.
a hot take.
All right, man. I don't care what everybody says about it. Like when I played it, I had fun for like an hour or two, and then I realized, it's like, what's the point of life? Is this really worth it?
Jesus.
I have to ask a question.
What's
All
up?
right, hold up. So I know for a fact, Denzel, you said that it was an early game of your contender for you. I don't know if you solidified it, but I know you said it was a contender.
Contender, yeah.
Did you not agree with him when he said that?
No, I remember we had that conversation. It was what people were saying, but like it was for me. I remember arguing that I kind of felt like for overpriced for what you got. You know what I'm saying?
I remember agreeing with that
Because
statement though. I definitely distinctly agreed that it was overpriced for what it was. But I still do think I don't really disagree with what Manny said though. Like it still is or it was a game of the year contender at the time, but A, it was early in the year, and B, like really when you take a step back at it and after playing a game, like you kind of understand like, yeah, this really wasn't it. Like, you may have just been caught up in whatever it was at the moment. Like I understand why people feel like it's a game of the year contender because the production value is really high in the game. And I do think that a lot of the mechanics are good. And Manny mentioned like the repetitive nature of the game. I do think that's the point of the game, and ironically, that's going to lead into my answer as well. But yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. It was in retrospect a little bit of a letdown because I personally got a little caught up in like all the hype of what was going on, and again, I had fun with the game, but like after a while, I was just like, I don't want to keep playing this, So
yeah, like I said, it was like let me rephrase it a little bit. Like yeah, I had fun with it a little bit, but like overall, it was just like like the overall experience you get for the price you pay just kind of didn't feel like it was worth what you were paying for, especially now since games are charging you $70 instead of 60. Even though it is only $10, that's still like a big price point compared to like these other games that are like other AA games that be charging like $40. So
I feel that. I also feel like part of the experience that I had with Returnal is like the experience that's pretty emblematic for me and a lot of PlayStation exclusive games. Like I lose steam on them after a couple hours or so. Like I'm
Mhm.
not, and by no means am I going to put Ratchet and Clank in this category per se, but like I lost steam on Ratchet and Clank. Like I just didn't beat it. I'm sure I'm probably at least maybe 65% through with the game, but like I lost steam. Like it was just like this middle part, it feels like filler, and I'm not as interested in the story anymore. So I've just kind of let
Mhm.
it go. But that game is still great. Like I think that if I play a little bit further, I'd probably start to find the joy in the game again. But yeah, that's like often a problem I have with PlayStation exclusives. Like God of War, I ran into that same issue, but I had to go back and eventually play it and beat it, and I was like, all right, this is a great game. But yeah. But as far as
I
my
actually love
answer,
Ratchet and Clank. My bad. I was gonna say I just love that.
oh sorry.
But no,
But yeah, my
yeah.
answer, I'm actually I'm gonna cheat a little bit and I'm gonna say two games, and the second one may not be fair because I don't know if I necessarily was ever too excited about it in the first place. But the first one is gonna be 12 minutes. That was a game that I know I've talked about quite a bit, and I was very excited for it. And it was just kind of like a flash in the pan when it released. It was just like, okay, this is really interesting. And then I beat it in like 2 or 3 hours or something stupid like that. And then it was just like, yeah, this wasn't worth it. This wasn't worth my time. I
I mean, it
mean,
was a Game Pass
yeah,
game
I was
from the
gonna say
jump.
it was a Game Pass game, so I can't complain about price or anything like that. And plus, I think it was only like $20, even if it wasn't in Game Pass. And so I probably would have spent the money. And I don't know if I would have complained about spending the money per se, but it was just like, eh. And then like when you get to the end of the story and like you really understand what the hell's happening, it's like this is stupid. Like I don't know. Chris, did you beat it?
Nah, fam.
Do you know what
Oh
happens?
man.
Do you know what
Nah,
the
I
ending is
don't want to
about?
get a spoiler on it because I want to eventually go back to it. But oh man, that game is like I know the point of it is to not have checkpoints and whatnot, and for you to continuously have to start from the very beginning again. But there's just not enough payout for me to want to keep doing it hour after hour. If I because all right, I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't figuring it out in 2, 3 hours like you did. It take your boy a while. I'm a little stupid. Okay. All right. And I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I kind of don't even want to do this. And I'm gonna agree a little bit. Because now that I'm thinking about it a little bit, you know what I'm saying? It was a little bit of a waste of a William Dafoe voiceover. Cause like
Bruh.
William Dafoe.
Got James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley. Y'all just got names just
I
for
forgot
name's sake.
McAvoy was in it. God damn. Oh, what's his
McAvoy's the
name?
main guy.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
But like y'all just got names for name's sake. And it's just like,
Yeah,
bruh,
that's crazy.
why? Like it's a cool idea, and like I don't know. I never really felt like I was digging too deep into the repetitive side of things because like I think after I don't know, I must have tried a couple different things, maybe three times each, and I kind of like made my way through. It's definitely not like obvious some of the things that happen, but I don't know. It was definitely like a cool puzzle game, but like when I got to the end of the story, it was just like this isn't worth it. Like, and it didn't even fully make sense. It was ugh, don't even get me started. But yeah, that's my first pick. Second pick, easily going to Outriders. That game is trash. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, I remember we all loved that game day
Yo,
one.
Never
Yo.
yo,
loved
I
that
didn't know he
game.
was gonna do that, bro.
Never loved that game. That game was horrible. Only reason it even like got any kind of traction is because it was in Game Pass and it made the splash and whatever, which was great. Absolutely great.
Oh, that's
I
funny.
enjoyed playing with it, playing the game with you guys, but that game was horrible, bro. And they
Mhm.
still like there's no new content. They didn't like they supposedly fixed some of the loot drops or whatever, I guess now, but like wannabe ass Gears of War type, like nah, bro. Nah, nah.
I guess people can't fly.
Oh,
No, it's not.
bruh.
Yeah,
Wah,
that double
wah,
that.
Come on, man. Why you hate?
wah.
Why you guys hating? You know I'm right. No.
Who said it?
Oh
What?
man.
Jesus.
Oh man.
All right. Well, guys, let's get into the topics for the week. You know, we had some fun with our icebreaker. So let's get into it here. So if any of you know what's going on in the industry right now, you know that a new Resident Evil movie is coming along. We've talked about it in the past. And we finally finally got a trailer for it, even though the movie's coming out like next month. Don't know what the situation is there, but Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. We have a new trailer. It was very, very interesting to say the least. You know, you guys know I'm a big Resident Evil fan. I am very, very excited about this. It looks like this one is being handled. Actually, you know what? I was gonna say you can tell that the person who's making this is a fan, but I don't think that's necessarily fair to. I think it's Wes Anderson who made the first ones. I think he was a fan as well, but he just had a different vision for it. I think this vision for this particular revamp of the franchise seems to be a little bit more in line with the games to me. He's not taking as many liberties and like introducing new characters and whatnot. It seems to be a little bit more of a one-to-one telling of the story. And yeah, that shit just looks really fucking cool to me. It's like really gritty and edgy and whatnot. I'm still on the fence about Leon, not gonna lie. But I liked everything I saw so far. So, we're gonna sorry, not Chris. Manny, I'm gonna start with you and see what you got to say about this one here.
Yeah, I mean, I remember looking at the trailer. I don't know why, but the way the trailer was for everything, like the little slides they show after like the little scene, I felt so low budget a little bit. But then at the same time, it was just like it felt like that perfect cheesy because we know Resident Evil can
Yeah.
be a little cheesy
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yep.
So I mean, one of my personal favorite takes on the trailer was when it was like in basically how they kind of like brought in my opinion, the iconic scene from like Resident Evil 1, where it was like Chris or whatever you play as in Resident Evil 1 will like first encounter a zombie and does that little slow head turn. When I saw that in the trailer, I was like, I'm definitely watching it. This movie's gonna be a 10 out of 10. I don't care what anybody says. So I'm definitely excited to see that. And I know we ain't seen the trailer, but I hope to see my boy Mr. X make an appearance, That would be a shame if they had to cut him out.
Hey man, you don't know, never know. I mean,
But
I wonder if they would save because if you think about how the game did it, right? Mr. X evolved to be the nemesis. So would you want redundancy in the game in the movie where you have Mr. X and then eventually when you do the next one you have to show the nemesis? Like, wouldn't you just save it for the nemesis?
well, I mean, depending how what the direction they're going with, because like of course this is like the first two combined together. So depending on how they work with it, and like we said, it's weird to see them having like the second one at the same time as the first one, especially with Jill being a big part of the third one, which take place during the second one. So it all pretty much depends on how like the direction goes with the movie and everything like that.
Yeah. I mean, chronologically it has to happen. Like I'm very confident that chronologically, as far as the movie goes, it's not actually that one is taking place with two because that wouldn't make sense. Like you
Hmm.
need the things that happen in one for two to happen. Like one is then what leads to the outbreak that happens in two. So I would assume that at some level, maybe two is a flashback or they're just doing one straight into two. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of too. Is like possibly they might be doing like the first one for be like the first half of the movie, and then the second one be the second half kind of thing. But it pretty much all depends what direction you go. And I think that would be a little weird to have like the first half and then the second half. I feel like they'll probably just have both happening at like the same time because it'll just I probably would have set right having like the first half having only Chris and Jill, and then the second half like Leon's. Like you probably would want them like the whole story. Well, actually, well, it depends how you go with it. I'll say.
Yeah, I think there's a world where they can make it work. I mean, it just depends on. I guess you don't need to spend that much time in the manor, right? Like
Hmm.
you just need to go through like the interesting beats. Like, okay, they get there. One of the first things that happens is probably that iconic thing that you mentioned with the zombie with the lab coat turns around slowly because like that is one of the first things that happens in the first game. So
Hmm.
that happens. I'm not gonna like get into like spoiler territory, I guess, but that happens. You progress into the mansion. You eventually get to like the hive. Bada boom, like whatever. Boom. Now we're in the second act. I can see it happening. I can see them making it work. But
Yeah,
uh,
I'm excited. So
all right. Well, we gotta get our take from our Resident Evil noob here, Chris. What you think about the
You
trailer,
ain't
bro?
had to say all that shit,
Hey man, it's all right. Embrace it, bro.
um,
You coming into it with fresh eyes, so we want to get your perspective.
true. I'm gonna agree with Goop a little bit. I will say some of the parts of the trailer did look low budget esque in a sense. However, it's not always a bad thing. I'm always a firm believer in especially with horror movies. Oh my goodness, bro. If it's not a supernatural element to it, or if there isn't like I don't know, there has to be a reason for me to want like a whole bunch of special effects in a horror movie.
Hmm.
I feel like horror movies are at their best, excuse me, when they're gritty, when they look believable, because that's how you instill the true fear in the person that's watching it. When they kind of can get the sense of, oh shit, this almost like it could really happen to me. That's how it usually works.
Yeah.
So, um, I think this is the right direction for them to start off with this reboot. Absolutely. Because one of my biggest gripes with the last franchise was that it got far too Hollywood.
It
You know what I'm
wasn't even
saying? Like
Resident Evil anymore.
it was not, bro.
Yeah.
It was just like, and again, now you call me a noob. I even know towards like the last few movies, I'm like, fam, can anybody tell me what the fuck is going on? Like, it was just explosions and it was weird, man. It was like whoever was directing it almost was like, yo, well, shit, I'm gonna show Michael Bay. I'm gonna do zombie Michael Bay. And then, it's kind of like went what they went with. I want this franchise, and maybe I'm asking for too much, but I want them to kind of pay attention to the little details, almost like how Walking Dead used to do. Like, I remember when I used to watch that show like religiously, they were so meticulous with everything to make sure that they were killing zombies in different ways and then like keeping record of what their coolest zombie kills were on the show, to the point where everybody's death was a little bit different from one another's, to the point where they had like big walkers, little walkers, fat walkers, walkers that were not so deteriorated, ones that were, pretty fresh looking, ones that were half a body. Like, I would love for the little tiny minute details like that to be more so in this Resident Evil thing. And to me, when you have the stuff that doesn't look so Hollywood, it lends to that. So I'm hoping that this all kind of just adds together the way I'm wanting it to in my head. And this kind of like leads the new franchise in like a positive direction. I don't want this to become a Hollywood thing at all. Like, it does not need to be that. This shit needs to be dark, gritty. I would say more visceral than the last few movies. They ain't for kids. You know what I'm saying? They're not for kids. So bring their asses to bed. You know what I'm saying? This is for the adults. And I want to see some legit shit. Show me some shit. You
I'd
know
be
what I mean? Like,
curious.
I
Yeah.
want to see it. Show me.
I'd be curious how like deep into it they get, because I mean you brought up Walking Dead, and I think the OG movies came out, well, at least the OG franchise started in a place where the Walking Dead didn't exist, right? So
Right,
at
yeah.
some level, if you're revamping the franchise, whatever, you have a younger director who's a little bit more passionate about Resident Evil or whatever. Um Maybe he's influenced by Walking Dead in a way, some of the work that Nicotero did on the show with visual effects
Yeah.
and things like that. So you'd wonder if that plays a role. I will say though, some of the stuff you're describing has never really been Resident Evil to MO. Like, Resident
I know.
Evil is about zombies, but like zombies really just play a backdrop for like it's really just an action game about like bio weapons, right? So like zombies are a thing, but like they're not really the thing. So I'd be curious if that changes a little bit with this one movie though, because it could be the case, you know.
I just think those little touches for these types of movies go so far. You know, and even like slasher flicks and stuff like that, even though I'm not really a big fan of those types of movies anymore today, they do so much better when it's less Hollywood and more just grit, more just visceral, raw shit in your face. Those movies do very, 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 very well, as long as the story's good.
Mm.
But visually is what I'm saying. I just kind of wish it was kind of like that. Even like what's the name of the zombie movie from like I want to say the early 2000s? It's got Ving Rhames in it.
28 days.
Is it the
No,
no, not
oh,
28 Days, Day
Day of
After
the Dead,
Tomorrow?
Day of the Dead or
For Day
Dawn of
of
the
the
Dead or
Dead?
something like that.
Yeah,
They're in
yeah,
the
Dawn
mall,
of the Dead,
right?
I think it was. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Even stuff like that, like I don't know, I wish they would capture more of those type of elements in Resident Evil
It's crazy
because
because it's crazy that like all of this stuff is just like circling around, because that movie that you just referenced is a heavy reference around Dead Rising. Like that
Mm,
movie heavily referenced or like influenced, I should say, the original Dead Rising and like what they've gone on to do with that franchise. It's just funny how like yeah, like again, like we always talk about on this podcast, like movies
yeah,
and
man.
video games, they always come back together in some way, shape, or form. It's really cool. Love to see it.
Mhm.
Love to see it.
That's a cool connection.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, enough about Resident Evil. You know, y'all know already. I could talk about Resident Evil all day. So we're gonna get off from my passion project, and we're gonna talk a little bit about Manny's. So, Manny, I'll let you take it away, bro.
All right, all right. So yeah, actually, a couple weeks ago, we finally got a little teaser trailer about the Grand Theft Auto trilogy that we've been talking about for the last couple weeks or months ago, and yeah, it's very exciting to see that we're finally getting. Some Rockstar news because Rockstar just likes to be quiet for some reason and let the fans do the talking, right? But
It's
yeah,
actually kind of smart. I ain't gonna hold you.
it's true, man. We make all
It's
these
frustrating,
conspiracy
but it's very
videos or
smart.
like these
Yeah.
fake leaks and everything like that. Rockstar is probably sitting there like with the money, waddling the cash. But yeah, we finally got it. And it's actually coming sooner than expected. There's a lot of rumors saying that it'll be here by the end of this year in December. Coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Series X, PC, Switch, and even iOS and Android devices as well. So it's very exciting. And there has been a lot of leaks recently talking about how this game will get the GTA 5 aiming treatment, possibly, as well as upgraded graphics and visuals, because of course the game is like 20 years old. So that's something that you gotta kind of pretty much have. Um, but yeah, very exciting for GTA users. The only thing that is kind of weird though is they actually, as of last week, took out the original trilogy off like the PlayStation Store and Steam and stuff like that. So it kind of got you thinking, like, are they really gonna just like re-release the same game but like
Is it
call it
weird?
GTA?
Is it weird though,
GTA
Manny?
it's weird not only because like they take out the original trilogy, but they did it in like such a short notice. They're like, all right, here's the trailer for a little teaser we're gonna give you for the trilogy, and then like not even a week later, all right, take out the stories right now. So and also rumored the price to be like around $60 to $70. I'm
70,
guessing
yeah.
70 for next gen and 60 for current gen. So
Yeah.
that's one thing to also look for. But yeah, what do you guys think about it?
Yeah.
I graphics better be good, for $60, $70 price
That's
point.
what I'm saying. They better have up-res a lot.
Yeah.
That better look
A
like the
lot.
ones that these dudes be posting YouTube of GTA.
I don't want
like-
to see none of this. There's a camera. Hold up. There you go. Remember how their hands used to be like this and they couldn't like separate their fingers? It was always like this all the time. None of this. None of that.
You better
No.
see like GTA 5 mod graphics, the way that people be modding the game, that would look so much better than the actual game. So
Yeah, that shit used to look horrible, bro. They used to hold the guns like this. So
Yo.
bad.
I do feel, I don't know. I feel like it's weird to me. Like I feel like there's only so much you can really do without I don't know enough about game design to really get into it that deep, but I just feel
Yeah,
like there's only so much you can really do without having to like redo like animations and like get back into mocap and all that
I
different type
agree.
of stuff. So it's like just make GTA 6. Like kills me. But also, Manny, like to your point, like I don't know, nothing about that surprised me that they took the old games off of the different stores.
Nope.
Like that's just par for the course. They're not gonna try to cannibalize their own sales. It's like, oh well, why would I want to go out and buy like all three of these games when I could just go pay like $25 or $30? Like yeah, they're gonna take them shits off the stores. That shit does not
You know what's
surprise me.
funny? You know what's even more funny?
What?
They're gonna remonetize the older ones again later, anyways. I promise you. Those are gonna get re-released in like 2 years as like the classic editions or some shit.
Mhm.
And they're gonna make even more money again off of them shits. I'm telling you, man, nothing that Rockstar do is just because.
Yep.
Nothing. Like
Yep.
absolutely nothing. It's
They know
man.
exactly what they're doing. And also, I think it's really telling the fact that like you basically just ran through that little segment there, and I was even looking for it myself. Like they don't have any definitive information about what is or isn't getting upgraded. The fact that you were like,
Mhm.
oh, it's been rumored that it's going to get the GTA 5 system. Like this is supposed to come out in
Hey,
December,
but
maybe January. We don't know. Like, bruh. Bruh.
I think they're gonna shock us with some stuff. Though. I would have to assume so. Like, I don't think they're gonna give us like a whole brand new ass video game, like when them rebuilding everything. But I think it's gonna look a little better than probably most people anticipate, and I think it's gonna,
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I feel like they'll give us
yeah,
enough to whet the appetite to say, "Oh, this is like better than I thought it was going to be." But it still
yeah.
won't. It's still like at the end of the day, you're going to be like, "Bro, what the hell's GTA 6?" Like that's really what this all boils down to at the end of the day for me. Like, what the fuck? Give me GTA
I'm
6.
content with it. You know, I know GTA 6 ain't gonna come for another 2 years, but we're gonna have to do what we got. Beggars can't be choosers, you know.
I'm gonna have to place a friendly wager on that 2 year mark, bro. I think that might be a little bit further out.
I'm Kevin 2023. If it doesn't come 2023, then you know, hopefully Saints Warriors take over somehow.
Oh god.
But let's be 100% real here, y'all. Y'all know damn well, even if this game come out in 2025, every single one of us are still gonna be waiting for that shit
Oh,
as soon
GTA
as it
6, no
comes out.
doubt, no doubt.
Man, it could take another 5, 6 years, and it's gonna still hit how it gotta
Oh
hit,
yeah,
man. That shit is too big.
I'll be there
It's
day
too big.
one.
Pause.
Taking a day
Mhm,
off from work, I'll be there. I am ready to go. Don't get it
mhm.
twisted.
Especially like with what they can do in this newer shit. Like that's the thing. We gotta like let them cook. Cause they kind of innovate a couple different things every time they come out with a new game, I feel. And it's like they got this whole new kit to work with the new systems. I'm willing to let them figure out whatever they gotta figure out and let them cook. Cause I think, yeah, and I'm gonna say this confidently. I think whenever GTA 6 does come out, it's gonna do whatever Cyberpunk was supposed to do and done something. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. All of the stuff that we wanted more of in Cyberpunk, all the unfinished shit that we were supposed to get in Cyberpunk, that ain't happening with GTA. It's not happening. Because when do they ever release anything that's not a finished product?
Mm,
You're right.
never,
You're right.
never really.
You know what I'm saying? Like they don't
Never
do
really.
that. That is not their reputation. If they put some shit out, it's done. So like, yeah, I think, yeah, we just gotta sit back and wait. But yeah, this little trilogy gonna be all right. You know what I mean? It's gonna hold us over a
I
little
feel
bit.
you.
Yeah, at least sun in the plate to eat for now. You
Yeah,
know.
Yeah. 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 You know, they're doing a little something, something to tide us over. You know, they're reaching into their past to get us ready for the future. Whatever.
I am looking
Um,
forward to this. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. I am looking forward to that one the most out of all of them.
San Andreas. Oh, no doubt. No
That
doubt.
shit is
That's
so
yeah.
fucking legendary,
Yeah.
bro.
No doubt. That's definitely the one I like. If they let me just buy one of them as opposed to getting all three, that's the one I'm gonna buy for sure. No doubt. But yeah, jumping over to the next topic here, you know, talking about what's old is new, I guess you could say. We got Xbox. It's their 20th anniversary this year. So, we actually just got a blog post that was released. I want to say, is it today? I think it was today. From Matt Booty, actually. Um, they're kind of it's funny because the blog post in particular really doesn't talk about like Xbox's like 2 decades of existence or whatever. It talks about like it celebrates Game Pass and like their back to back launches of like pretty big games like Back for Blood and the fact that we've got Age of Empires coming, Forza, Halo, so on and so forth. But like tucked away deep in the little blog post here, we got a little bit of information. So I'm just going to read it straight off here. So Matt Booty says, over the past 2 decades, the Xbox community has made gaming a place for joy, inspiration, education, and social connection. Games build bridges and forge bonds between friends and family, as well as give new ways to connect. He goes on to say, we invite you to join us on November 15th to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Xbox and Halo with a fun digital broadcast for fans around the globe. While we won't announce any new games, this anniversary broadcast will be a special look back at 20 years of Xbox. We'll share more news coming soon, so stay tuned. And then I think there was like a couple tweets that came out to kind of clarify a few things. Um, Also basically saying that we'll get some updates on some already announced games, which is pretty exciting. It almost seemed like they're kind of trying to taper expectations with this, which I find kind of weird because you would think you would take this opportunity to maybe announce some new games too, or maybe even announce some acquisitions, something in bigger in the world of Xbox. But I do find this interesting. November 15th, it looks like they're saying at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when this event's going to happen. It looks like it's going to be taking place on Twitch and their YouTube channel. So, with that being said, guys, go around the room. Chris, I'm gonna start with you this time. What do you expect to see out of this event? Obviously outside of what they've said so far, but any updates on any games in particular?
Um, any updates on any games in particular at this event? It's hard for me to say because I know that the awards are around the corner too, and I feel like a lot of stuff is being saved for that.
Mm.
Huh?
That was a good point though, because I part of me feels like maybe that's why they aren't showing anything new. Maybe they have
Yeah, man,
updates for some
it's so
things there.
close to it, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
that's true.
uh, cause like, yeah, say if I answered Redfall, they're not gonna put Redfall on that over the Game Awards. That's not gonna happen. So like, I don't think that's gonna happen. But like, I could see them doing things like maybe showing like, oh, I don't know, additional things they might be giving us for maybe the flight simulator or like a couple of the other games in Game Pass. A lot of them actually still have the game preview thing on them. I don't know if that ever means anything and whether or not those games are ever gonna like be officially released in full totality. Maybe they talk about that stuff. I don't. I kind of get the impression it's going to be light. I don't think it's going to be too crazy. So like, it's really kind of hard for me to say.
Mm.
Every other answer I can come up with, I'm like, nah, they saving that for the Game Awards. Nah, they saving that for Game Awards.
Mhm.
But the thing
And
is
it's
too though, you got to think about it this well, at least the way I view the Game Awards. There's probably going to
yeah,
be two big Xbox announcements, maybe. It's not like the whole Game Awards is really like Xbox's thing, right? The Game Awards tends to
true,
be
true.
pretty neutral. So I would see maybe two big Xbox announcements, maybe two big Nintendo announcements, two big Sony announcements. Like they tend to keep it pretty even across the board. So I think if Microsoft has more to show, this is an opportunity for them to show it, right?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I definitely hear you. Huh. If that's the case, you know what? Here's my answer for this. The two games that they have, excuse me, touched on that they've barely given us any information on that I think they maybe should use a thing like this to talk about. Fabled and Avowed. Those two games, I'm sitting here like, bruh, like, can we get something? And I think I recently glossed over something about Avowed recently. Like, I didn't like click the link or whatever, but
Yeah.
something about that happened recently. But like them two games, I've been like waiting to see just like anything, in game, pre-alpha footage, whatever, bro. Like I just want to see something for the games. So that would be pretty cool. If they talked about any of those two, I would call that a win. I wouldn't even really care about whatever else they talk about.
Mm, mm.
I'm gonna be 100% real.
I could definitely see it's funny that you mentioned those two because that's the two that I think if they're going to update anything it would be those two as well. And my reasons why echo a lot of what you're saying. Like, it's been a while. All we've gotten was, as far as Fable goes, all we got was like a concept trailer, right? See
Like a
anything.
teaser kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, even just a little bit of information about what's going on or, something about Fable I think would be useful. I think it'd be a good opportunity for Microsoft to just check in on all of their studios, right? Even if they don't necessarily
Mm,
like show us a lot of new stuff, just be an opportunity to just go through, very similar to what they did with the Bethesda showcase. Just do that for the internal Xbox studios, like, well, Bethesda is internal, but you know what I
that'd
mean.
be
Like
cool.
any of
Mhm.
the ones outside of it, like check in with Playground Games, see what they're doing with Fable. Check in with 343. Well, actually, that's the one thing that I actually know for sure, or not know for sure. I'm like 99.9% confident that we'll be getting some Halo news and probably like one of our first Halo campaign trailers since last year's debacle with like Craig and all that stuff. So yeah, that's the
Shout
one
out
thing
Craig.
I am like very, very confident on. They'll be like, all right, it's like a month away from the game releasing. Let's give you guys like some gameplay footage from the campaign. Um, but then also Avowed. I'm glad you mentioned this too because there was some information that came out last week about um I guess like I think it was Jez Corden over at Windows Central. I think he got a chance to see the game and like wrote a little blurb about it and how like it's now like one of his most anticipated Xbox games because of what he saw, and how like it's very much um Obsidian's like Elder Scrolls, like that's like their take on Skyrim. And he talked a little bit about the system and how like you can either be like it's very much what's the word? Like dexterity based, I guess. Like you can either have one hand for magic and one hand with a sword, both hands for magic, and like if you're using both hands for magic, the type of spells that you can conjure up are more granular and more intense and so on and so forth. So like the little blurb that he spat out about Avowed definitely was interesting, and I think the fact that he's getting to see it now could mean that maybe there's some new information to come out, whether it's this or the Game Awards. So you know that is a really good point, Chris. But yeah, Manny, I mean, anything else you think
Mhm.
we might be seeing? A little bit of Perfect
Uh,
Dark or something?
I feel like besides maybe the Halo stuff that they show, it'll probably be most likely like indie game stuff. That stuff that they're gonna showcase that will be coming to Game Pass soon. I don't think it'll be too much any huge announcements or anything like that because I feel like the Game Awards would be like the perfect platform for it, especially since there'll be more eyes on the audience than their little 20th anniversary. Um, hopefully they'll give us some more restocks on the mini fridge. Sadly sold out. So, but other than that, like I said, I feel like it's just gonna be like Halo and maybe a couple other things that like reminisces on like what Xbox was when it first came out and everything like that. And maybe some little indie game announcements, but I don't see anything too big being announced.
Okay. I, do you guys think that there's a chance that there's like a studio announcement here, like a studio acquisition thing?
See,
Hmm.
I was thinking about that, but then even my brain with that still said it would have went back to whatchamacallit. Um,
You still think that would be a Game Awards thing?
if it's the Kojima thing, no, Kojima's not gonna sign his whole thing over. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Never mind. He's just making a game with them, but he ain't doing that. That don't make no sense.
I think the fact that they were explicit in saying no new game announcements at least takes that off the, at least in my opinion, takes that off the table. Like no indie game announcement, no nothing. Like we're not going to get anything new. But I do think it's an opportunity for like I've stated, it's an opportunity for them to rehash some of the stuff that we already know about. But you know, even beyond that, personally, I think it's a good opportunity to announce the studio acquisition because you could say, hey, you know, 20 years of Xbox, we're bringing on WB Games and Rocksteady and so on and so forth. Like, I don't know. It's something.
Sega.
Oh, God, no.
We're gonna get Sonic. Sonic is now exclusive to Xbox.
Yo, but that means we would have got Power Stone, maybe.
No, that's Capcom.
Oh yeah, you're right.
If they got
It's on
Capcom,
the
I'm
Sega
losing my mind.
Dreamcast. All right, yep, my bad. I fucked it up. You right. You right.
Bro, they get
You right.
Capcom, it's a wrap. I'm losing my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a heavy hitter.
yeah,
That is a heavy
that's huge.
hitter.
That means fucking Resident Evil is under
Resident Evil.
Xbox.
Yeah.
I thought that happened.
It won't.
I
Yeah,
feel
I
It
don't
like
think
definitely
so
won't.
either.
yeah,
I don't think so.
I think
We
Sony
got
might
another shot at
like,
Sega.
yeah. But like, why would we go? Like, why would they go for Sega? It just doesn't. I don't know.
Cause Sonic, bro. Cause Sonic.
Uh, but the main reason why I bring up the acquisition talk is that there was another article today, again from Jez Corden, you know, the guy at Essential here, talking a little bit about Phil Spencer mentioning that, you know, they are like confirming that they are planning on acquiring more studios. I think we have a quote here. Let's see. So apparently Phil Spencer was talking to the Wall Street Journal recently, and he said we're always on the lookout for people who we think would be a good match and teams that would be a good match with our strategy. So we're definitely not done. I mean, that echoes like literally all the things that we've heard from Satya Nadella, Matt Booty. I mean, they've all talked about the fact that they are actively still looking to buy new studios. So I think that conversation has definitely like taken a like gotten to like a head over the summer in particular. Like there were some pretty wild things out there, like people thinking
Mhm.
that Microsoft was going to go buy Take Two, which means they would have owned like Rockstar and like all these other studio. That's that. I mean,
Never.
No.
That means you own 2K too.
No way.
first off. That's a wild acquisition, but
Mhm.
I am not gonna say never. Microsoft has more than enough money to pull that off, and
They gonna
especially after what
they
happened with
talking
Bethesda,
billions though. They
bro.
That's like double
Seven
Bethesda
point
shit.
five billion dollars they spent on Bethesda. I
It's
don't think you
easily
understand.
over 14.
Bro, Rock,
Microsoft,
Easily over 14 billion for that shit.
time out. Microsoft is one of the first $1 trillion companies. I don't think you understand how much $1 trillion is, Manny.
I get it, but goddamn.
If they wanted to go buy Take Two, they could go buy Take Two. I don't think they will, and I don't think they need to. But like, let's not get it twisted here, guys. They can buy that.
It's just
I just
wild to think about, bro.
nah, because like I mean, looking at Take Two, like Rockstar alone to be making like billions of dollars a year just on microtransactions on Grand Theft Auto and like what 2K. Like Take Two is like 2K, right? Like they own that part as well. Like
they own
or-
they own
yeah. So they seem
visual
like
concepts, all that stuff. Yeah.
they don't need that. Man, they're gonna look at Microsoft and be like, we make our own billions. We're gonna be trillions soon. You know?
You acting like it would be a choice, bro. Like, yo, if Microsoft sat there and said $100 billion right now, you think Take Two's not going to be like, all right, bet. Like, what?
No, yeah, nobody walks away from 100
100 billion?
Nobody. What? You gotta
I
be
mean,
like
of
Zeus
course,
on the
of
top
course.
of Mount Olympus to walk away from that. What?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're right. You're right on that part. You're right
Like,
on
I
that
mean,
part.
I'm
No
just saying,
way,
let's keep
Jose.
it in perspective here. Like, look at what they did with Bethesda. Like I guarantee you, if we had started the podcast like right before that Bethesda thing happened, we would have been over here like, that's never gonna happen, yada 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 yada. And then boom, it would have popped off. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hey man,
I
I feel like
mean,
the most realistic thing that I would see that I would like is if they buy like Konami since they're holding on so many good games that they're not even using, like Castlevania, Metal Gear, and stuff like that.
I can see that.
So I'll say that's like a realistic one, but at the same time, it's like I think Konami just doesn't want to give that up.
Yeah, I think they're just in a place where they're now just starting to try to utilize those IPs again. So I don't know if they're necessarily gonna sell. And also I think Microsoft could just buy the IPs. Like I think
True.
Konami's in a place where they'd be willing to just, hey, take these IPs and do whatever you want with it. Because it's not like if you're Microsoft, the only thing you'd be buying Konami for is the IPs, right? They don't have development studios. They're not really out. Like you're not, this is gonna sound mean, but like you're not buying them for their talent. Like it's not the same as if you're going out and buying Rockstar or anyone from Bethesda, right? Like Bethesda is stacked with talent, so you know that whatever they're creating next is going to be important and it's going to be big. Whereas like Konami, it's just like you're just buying IPs, so you might as well just
Mhm.
buy them off of Konami instead of trying to have to take in all their extra stuff and lay people off.
I will say this: two things. One, I want somebody to get their hands on Castlevania. That to me is a franchise, right? If they resuscitated it and say Microsoft somehow got the rights to just have it be an exclusive, dude, they can create lore and enough stuff for this game for it to be like, and this might be a hot take. This is gonna be a hot take. If they did this shit right, it could be like a God of War type game. It
Oh,
really could be
easy,
if they wanted it to be.
easy.
And like they don't do it. And I'm like, dude, so many games that I can think of that just kind of just sit. Like it's so many people don't even know about some of these games. Castlevania should not be one of them. It's got too much to it. And it used to be, bigger way back, but I don't know what happened along the road where people just decided to shit on that franchise and just never even cared to like. I'm sorry, that's a whole nother tangent. It just when you said Castlevania, I'm like, man, that'd be dope, man.
Nah, bro. I
Like,
mean
imagine that.
I think that's an important
Uh,
discussion still, bro. Like you imagine
uh,
the thing that I feel like if Konami gets their stuff together and lets like a big developer work on the game, or if they sell off the rights or whatever, the very first thing that I would see out of a Castlevania game is that someone goes in and makes it like a Souls like experience. And then you
Mhm.
get like the triple, quadruple A quality of a God of War game, and you take the mechanics of a Dark Souls or Demon Souls and so on and so forth, or Elden Ring, or whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
Um, and you really like put the work in with that game, that game would be so special. Like
it really would
Castlevania
be.
is Ah, Castlevania
It
is an
really
amazing
would
game.
be.
Mm.
They've got so much lore that they can lean on. They've got animes that they made about this shit, man. Like, I mean, like it's there. You know, this it bugs me. It really, but this shit, if they did it right, it could be bigger than anything that Devil May Cry ever was, and any of these other games that ever came out. It could be a hitter.
This is
It
true.
really could be. And they just, I don't know. Konami, if you're listening, fam, or anybody out there who got bread, who want to buy the IP, just come on,
Just go do it. Just do it.
man. Jeez.
Oh man. All right. Yeah, but yeah, we're moving on. Moving on. Next topic here. You don't really have a good segue for this, but something that we talked about a number of different times on this podcast is a game that I think we're all pretty excited about. It's Battlefield 2042. I know a couple weeks ago we had the beta came out. I played a hell of a lot of that beta, man. It was so good. So good. Chris, I know you didn't get a chance to play.
Yeah, I got you baited.
Bro, it was bad, man. I'm like, Chris, make sure you download this so we could play by like the Sunday or whatever. Come to find out it was done that Saturday. So like Chris and I are like playing Destiny, whatever, that morning. We're like, all right, let's jump over to Battlefield. We all hop on Battlefield. We're like, oh, it's not letting us in. It's not letting us in. I'm like, oh shit, is it over? Yup.
Now,
Beta time is over.
how do you end on a Sunday?
A Saturday. Well, technically it's
Saturday.
the Saturday, yeah.
Saturday, yeah.
It was like,
So-
dude, why? Give us
Especially
the
when you
whole
can easily
weekend.
just extend it.
Yeah.
So many people just extend it. Even if that was the original idea, somebody there should have been like, "Hey, yo, Saturday, bro, come on, put 2 more days on that shit and call it." Why not? It's such a popular, anticipated game. Let mad people play it, unless they were scared. Was y'all scared?
Maybe, I mean, I do think having the game up maybe takes away time from like development because the game already got pushed back and so on and so
Yeah.
forth. So having to keep those servers up and yada yada yada, it could take away time from like the actual finished product because they did say the build that we played in the beta was a pretty old code and they've actually made like a lot of improvements ever since to kind of polish up the game and make it look neat and so on and so forth. The first thing that I noticed out of the game was that it definitely had its fair share of bugs. And obviously that's, that's what the whole time before release is for, is to crunch out bugs and so on and so forth. So I suspect that that's really their main focus right now. And that's probably why they didn't push it for as long, but still kind of sucked, man. Still really sucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really loved what I played. And of course, Chris, we can't necessarily get your take, but I will get you in the conversation in a moment. But Manny, I do want to hear two things from you in particular. I want to hear your favorite thing about the game and your least favorite thing about the game. So go for it.
I remember when the tornado first appeared on the map, and I was just like, "Yo, there's a tornado! I'm about to drive over there." So I'm over there with the buggy driving. Next thing you know, I'm just like getting taken by the tornado. I was like, "Yo!" Flying around the tornado, trying to shoot people, and then next thing you know, while the tornado is flying or like roaming around, the rocket decides to launch, and the tornado makes its way from like the bottom right corner of the map all the way to the rocket. Then the rocket tries to take off, and the rocket just blows up, and like debris flying everywhere while you're flying in this tornado and fighting people. And that was like when I was in that like situation particularly, I was just like, yo, this is the shit. like what, you can't go on any other game and do this, yo. This is like so fun. And that's like, it was just like, after that I was just happy, you know what I'm saying? Like I was satisfied with what I played with. And obviously you gotta love the people that are exploiting Battlefield already, spawning tanks and buildings and everything like that. And you gotta love it, man.
Right, that's how it
These
goes.
kids need to get a life, bro.
They're already exploiting the game, and it's in only beta form.
Oh my god, get a life.
I feel like that's not particularly hard to do though, because you can like call in vehicles and like you can. I can see how they were pulling that stuff off. So I don't know if that's that bad necessarily.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. You know, I had a blast with it.
Yeah,
I'll say the only thing, I know obviously it was in beta, but like the only thing that really kind of bothered me was like every time when I would do the quick swap on the attachments, every time I die and come back to life or respawn, it would just like preset to like nothing, and I had to like keep on doing that every time I used it
Hmm.
was like the AK gun. But I feel like it was just only the AK gun because like when I used the other guns, it didn't really like kind of do that. So that might have been a little bug for that. But other than that, like I didn't really find too many problems. I played it both on the Xbox Series X and the PC, and like thankfully they have like cost progression as well as crossplay. Even though it sucked because you couldn't like form a squad on a crossplay or cross platform, whatever. So like
Yeah.
I can only play with Xbox for my Xbox friends. I don't have any PC friends, so I'm not gonna say I can play with PC friends, but but other than that, I mean, it was fun. I really enjoyed it, and it sucks that they had to delay it, but I understand there's a lot of things they had to fix, so I'm not too mad about it.
Yes,
That game
sir.
could have been releasing this week. Oh,
I know. I know. That's okay though. You know, we've got things to play in the meantime, so I'm okay with it.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do really want to play that game. You know, for
Mm.
me, I think it's there are a lot of things that I loved about the game, but I'm gonna have to go with two different things in particular. Like one, the way you were talking about how you're able to switch the attachments on the fly, that brings like such a different dynamic to the game. Like it's crazy. Like instead of having to wait to die to then like switch up your loadout and like, oh well, I need something that's like a little bit longer range because this guy's camped here or whatever. It's like no, I could just run around the corner, like getting some grass or something like that, squat down, switch my scope, like take a different approach and just kind of swing around and like shoot somebody from a little bit longer range. Like I just love the way that you can switch out like different attachments for the right moment in real time. Like I feel like that is a game changer, and I hope that more games picked up with that because I think that shit is just really cool.
Mhm.
The second thing, it's not gonna be a surprise to anybody here. The grappling hook is so much fun,
Man, I love the
Mhm.
so
graphic hook, man, I tell you.
much fun, bro. Like that's it's just another one of those utility things where it's like, all right, we're all getting pinned down in this building, whatever. So people are out, and we know exactly which area they're in. They're shooting us, yada yada yada. All right, let me go out the back end of this building, fucking grapple to the top, get up on the roof, get my like uh, let's say like 4 times scope out, whatever, and just lay down, creep up, boom, boom, like start picking people off. Like now I have a different angle. It's a completely new tactic to the game. It's just a ton of fun. Um, and then like grappling onto so the map that you were talking about, or I guess it was really the only map, right? But like where
Mhm.
the rocket is, I think there's a rocket. No, 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 no. It's the silo that doesn't have the rocket in it, and it's where the B objective is. And like people basically keep spawning on the roof and like holding the objective or whatever. There was a point in time where the other team had the objective at B, and they were camping the elevator, so you couldn't just run in the elevator and go up like they were gonna kill you. So I was like, all right, bet I got something for them. So I went like inside the middle area of the silo, and I just like grappled up. I had to wait for it to like reload or whatever, but like I felt like Batman. It was like I grapple up, wait a second, wait for it to reload, whatever. Grapple up to the next side, wait a second, wait for it to reload. Grapple up again, and then eventually I made my way up, and like I snuck around some dudes. And this happened multiple occasions where I got myself like at least like 4 or 5 kills just creeping up behind guys with the grapple and like just taking them all out. And those moments, like you said, Manny, like those are the type of things that can only happen in Battlefield to me. Like
Mhm.
crazy tornado things happening, like blowing a hole through the side of a building so that you can get another angle to like kill, people and get the objective. Like that, oh my god, that is what makes Battlefield fucking special. And Chris, I'm so sad that you didn't get a chance to check it out yet, man. W-
I tried, man. I mean, I could have been probably more on it. Like I said, I ain't been gaming as much as I need to be in the last few weeks, but still, that shit was weird. Fucking Saturday. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, yeah,
Come on.
it's a pretty bad choice. But yeah, the one last thing though we got to talk about with Battlefield is a week after the beta had finished, we finally get a trailer for this Hazard Zone mode. So we it was something that we kept seeing in the menus, and I think Dice had like briefly talked about, but we didn't really understand what Hazard Zone was. There was some rumors that it was going to be a true battle royale. There was some rumors that it may be an Escape from Tarkov type of thing. But no, it's something different entirely. So I'm gonna read you off the synopsis here. I still don't feel like I fully know what it is, but It is what it is. So they say, discover Battlefield Hazard Zone, a tense, squad focused survival experience combining edge of your seat gameplay with the best of the Battlefield sandbox. That means nothing.
Mhm.
Inserted as a 4-member squad, you must locate and retrieve critical data drives scattered throughout the battlefield while competing against opposing squads with the same objectives and local militia. So it sounds like it's a PvE type of situation. Anyways, succeed by gathering the data drives and choosing when to extract before a storm overtakes the area in this high stakes, one life experience. Every bullet, every skirmish, every decision counts. And then they go on to say a bunch of other things, but they basically go on and also mention that the game's going to support 28 players. Although I feel like I heard them say at one point that the mode won't support 128, that it may actually only support like 64 or 32.
Mm.
We'll have to get some confirmation on that, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like I have a better understanding of what this mode is in comparison to the Ghost Recon game that we talked about last episode. It sounds like you drop in, you grab like a data drive, and they didn't mention it here, but apparently you can only extract 2 times in the game. You can extract middle of the game and then at the very end of it. So, you have 2 opportunities to win. And I guess they were also talking about the idea that there's kind of like a tactical factor to it. It's like, okay, do you go in the first drop, where everybody's probably trying to rush over and like get it and whatnot, and there's probably a lot more people alive, or do you wait until the end? Like you don't even bother trying to extract on that first one. You kind of sit it out, wait till the end, and then there's less people that you have to contend with. So I do think that's kind of cool. They're also a little bit clearer about it by saying that it is a one life experience. So in that way, it does make it a little bit more like Battle Royale. But you know, with that being said, guys, what is your take on it? Manny, I'll start with you.
Yeah, and I also heard that they have like a little black market mode or thing where it's like the data you collect gives you like currency, so that kind of makes it a
Ooh, so
little
it is a
unique
little
in
bit like
itself.
Tarkov. Okay.
And like I wonder like how that affects the gameplay and how it works because I know we all know Tarkov where you start off, you bring your own loot, and pretty much whatever you bring with, you can either lose it or drop it for better loot when you kill people, or end up with pretty much with the same loot and just go out with what you need. And how this one is like basically intel based, where it's like you got these little intel falling from the sky practically from what the trailer showed, and you just got to pretty much run up to it, steal the intel, and bounce. And that's how you get your currency there. So I wonder how like the black market does play a factor, and hopefully it is like one of those things where it's like there is a risk to it instead of being like okay, just drop in with your basic loot and you do your thing there. Like it could be like a battle royale where everybody pops in with a pistol and does their thing, but then that kind of like would feel like defeat the purpose with the black market. So I'm kind of hoping it is like a Tarkov thing where it's like what you come in with is like what you pretty much buy or whatever, and you either hope to keep it or you die and you lose it all.
I really hope that that's the case because, yeah, like it leads more into the high stakes thing that they're talking about here, where it's like, okay, what you do actually matters, like for your character the next time you try to load into this match.
Hmm.
Like, I think that's really cool. So, yeah, that's thank you, Manny, for bringing that up. Um, so yeah, I mean, Chris, what do you with that information? What do you think about this mode? You kind of excited for it? What you
Well,
think?
one, yeah, I'm definitely excited for it. It seems like Battlefield in general, this game's just loaded. It sounds like it feels like they're trying to give you a lot of avenues to play different kinds of things, very much like Call of Duty is doing now. Um, in some ways, it sounds like we might get even more with what they're doing with Battlefield. If you consider what they're doing in Portal, then
Mm,
this, then the
yeah.
actual, arena shooting and all that stuff, they're doing a lot of stuff with this game, man. Which also makes me have nightmares while being awake about the file size. Damn, that shit's gonna be a smooth 230 easy,
Oh
maybe
no,
more,
I hope not.
maybe more, bro. Oh my god, I'm not looking forward to that. I'm totally not. But yeah, man, it sounds like a very, very cool mode in a sense. Another question that kind of came up with after we had that conversation about the Ubisoft one was when I think about the people who actually go get the intel, right? There is a lot of risk associated with being the person who decides to do that. You're gonna land in the hotspot. You're gonna be fighting with other folks who are trying to get the intel. Not only that, you gotta get to the spot where you gotta do the extraction or whatever. But then there's the folks that are camping, waiting for you that didn't want to do shit. So you're fighting generally from the second you drop to the extraction point. I guess my other question was always going to be the folks who decide to just camp and wait and not do any of the extract and not go get the intel or whatever. Is there a way that they're incentivizing that the people who are doing that are fighting each other until the person comes with the intel? Because I don't want it to be a situation where the team that's waiting literally could just go find a building or a really good vantage point and just sit there the whole entire fucking game until the action gets brought to them. Because that's kind of like cheap. It's like you put all the risk on the person going to get the intel, but barely any on the person who's just being a gatekeeper. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to figure out how they make those interactions work. Like,
Well, the one thing I can say, I mean, they mentioned with Battlefield. I don't know anything about the Ghost Recon one, but at least with Battlefield, there is a storm that's like funneling players into certain situations.
right? Okay,
So
okay,
even if you don't necessarily have the intel, you still have to move. And I
okay.
again, we don't know anything about Ghost Recon, so I'm not even going to try to address it. But at least with Battlefield, I could see there being a situation where there's incentive to get the drives early. Like maybe the longer you have the drives, the more currency you get, so that you can get better guns,
Mm,
so on and so forth. Like I feel like the way this system's set up, it sounds like there's ways to incentivize players to engage sooner as opposed to waiting.
uh,
And then obviously, the storm, like I said, like that mechanic can probably push players from point A to point B. Like,
yeah, no, for sure,
yeah,
for sure.
PUBG had interesting mechanics to make sure that players didn't necessarily sit still all the time. Like they had the red zone. If they noticed that a player was camping for too long, like they would drop a red zone on you and like it would basically just bomb the area. I don't
Oh
know if it
shit!
was as effective, but it was. I mean, it was pretty cool. Like I
I
remember,
like that.
yeah,
I
I
want
thought that was
more
really
of that.
cool. But if you're in the building, like the buildings didn't collapse or anything like that, whereas they do in Battlefield. So if Battlefield implemented a red zone feature, the building's gone.
You're not seeing
Yeah,
that.
the building's not standing by the time that shit's done. But PUBG, like you could potentially still sit in the building and maybe survive. So it didn't really work as well in my opinion. But I could see them trying to figure something like that out for players who are camping, because obviously that doesn't make for as good of an experience. And somebody could just sit there and
Yeah,
camp the whole time
yeah,
and then wait for you to swing by and like kill you. Like it's a nature of gaming. Like camping is, tactically speaking, that's kind of how shit works in real life. But
mhm,
there's got to be some level of balancing to try to get players to move and engage and so on and so forth. So
yeah. Like it shouldn't be the meta strat to camp. That's what I'm saying.
I
Like
agree.
shit, we've even played games where we're like, all right, let's just sit here for a couple minutes before we move. That's part of the game. You're right, but like these cats that are just gonna load in, drop, find their spot, and then
And just sit.
literally not move. Like,
Yeah.
nah, bro, that ain't it. Like,
Yeah.
that is not it. So, aside from that, I mean, everything else sounds dope about the mode. I'm excited to play both of them. I don't know if they're gonna hit like how they're supposed to, but they're both trying to bring us something different while being similar to each other at the same time in some ways.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, no, I can't say anything bad. I'm always happy when people try new things. Don't know if it's gonna hit, but I'm here for it and see what
Hmm.
happens. But Battlefield's loaded, bro. That's gonna be 230 easy, bro. Easy. I'm telling you.
I don't know though. I feel like they're not going to
I'm
be as
telling y'all,
egregious
bro.
as like Call of Duty is the worst. So don't measure your thought process around how bad Warzone is with its like storage, cuz I don't feel like Battlefield's going to be as bad, but I don't know. I mean the beta wasn't too bad. It was like 16 gigs.
Yeah, but then like, cause well, we said it was like one game mode and like not too much stuff to do with it.
You're right.
I'm
Yeah,
just
it wasn't
thinking
too
about
much.
all the assets that are going to be in the like. They would have to kind of make it like COD now, where they let you select and choose what exactly you want to have in the game at what time.
I
Because
doubt
if
they
they're
would.
giving you all this shit, like, why would they not allow you to? I don't know. I'm just worried.
Personally, I feel like COD is poorly like this is gonna be like controversial, I guess, but like it's poorly designed from a file like structure standpoint, right? Like Verdansk it's big, but like in theory, if all I wanted to do was download Warzone and just have Warzone, why the hell is it a 200 gig like install? That doesn't make any sense to me. Verdansk is one map. All you do is reload on that same map. Yeah, there's a lot of different things going on that map, but like it doesn't need to be that big. Apex isn't that big, and Apex, I mean,
Textures, bro.
Apex
The
has textures
textures,
like a
bro.
lot. I don't
I'm
know, man. It's
joking.
not. No, I know you're playing around, but like it's just weird to me. Like I don't understand why Call of Duty really is as big as it is. Like it doesn't really make sense to me. Like Cyberpunk isn't as big as like from a file size standpoint. It's not as big as
Yo,
Warzone.
that's actually a really good point. Wow. Yeah. It's about 50 something gigs if I'm not mistaken. For
Right,
all
and
seven.
like Night City is massive, and there's a
Yeah,
lot
it
going on.
really is. Huh.
So I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know if Battlefield would succumb to that same thing. I think we might be all right. Also, also if you think about it like this, there like the Battlefield version that we'll be downloading is a next gen only version, and I don't know. I'm not gonna get like that's gonna get like super nerdy into tech talk, but in theory, when you have an SSD, you can compress more because the SSD is faster at decompressing the content. So in theory, you can make a smaller game. So I don't know, and I know that Warzone for a fact doesn't utilize that. So
Yeah.
something, but
Hopefully, bro.
we'll
I'm
see.
gonna pray because I can't be seeing no 200 plus gigs, man.
Mm-mm.
What I would have to delete, they're just gonna force me to go get that damn terabyte damn thing, man. I'm not ready to buy it yet. I need time.
I already have it, and that shit is. I'm basically
Oh
filling
man.
up hard drives. So
Yeah.
You got multiple memory cards. That's what I'm calling it. Just memory cards.
yeah, that is what they are. They're hot swappable. They're basically memory cards.
One of us.
All right, yeah, but yeah, of course. I mean, we can't wait to see what's gonna come from Battlefield 2042. Portion got delayed, but it's coming in November, so we'll see more about it. We'll get Chris his first Battlefield experience. It's gonna be
Yeah, man.
great.
I'm trying to blow somebody's head off and the helmet go flying that way, and then a squirrel land on it and some shit. That's what I'm trying
Oh
to have
god.
happen.
Now, yo, the
Eh,
moment that's gonna really fuck with you, bro, is like at least this is the moment that really like hit for me with Battlefield, and I did it in the fucking beta, and it was so exciting. The RPG, bro. If you like hit like a helicopter out the sky, just completely
mm.
murder like a whole team in a heli,
Mhm.
you gonna be like, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Yo, remember when you did that in Warzone like a year and change ago?
No, that was a while ago, man. I remember
Yo,
tossing
that
C4s
shit
and
was fucking hilarious. Yo, that was hype. That was hype.
yeah.
It's definitely
That
gonna be one
was
of the
hype.
moments, bro. We gonna be playing together, and like it's just it's one of those games where it's like there's always gonna be a moment where somebody can be like, "Yo, watch this," or like something ridiculous happens, and everybody's like, "Oh shit!" Like it's so good, man. Ah,
Mhm.
okay, but yeah, guys, that's it for this week's episode. Thank you guys for talking with us, vibing with us. This was a fun one for sure. But before we go, how we always do, Manny, start it off, man. Where can the people find you?
You already know. Always gooping 24/7. You can find me at twitch.tv/goopmasterflex, as well as Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at goopmasterflex. Underscore. The only difference is on Instagram it's actually underscore TTV, but everything else is just goopmasterflex underscore.
All right, bet. And then Mr. Chris, where can the people find you? Where can they pen pal you at?
First of all, I don't do pen piling because that shit is for losers. So I don't do that shit. Uh, Second of all, if you do want to find your boy, I'm at the same shit as always. MAY25THX. I gotta make sure I can like see my hands right here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where you find me if you're looking for your boy.
All right, bet. For me, guys, I'm the Black Ice 8 pretty much everywhere on Xbox, Twitter, twitch.tv/Black Ice 8. On Instagram and TikTok, it's a little different. It's going to be Black Ice 8 _ gaming, but make sure to check me out. Also, make sure to check out the podcast up on TikTok at Expansion Pack Podcast, as well as on Instagram at XPack Pod. Thank you guys again for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you guys are up on the YouTube. And we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Oh yeah.